Alright guys, I'm going to get right to the point. I'm scared. I believe that a historical financial event is coming, and I want to talk about some of the reasons why I think that, and then I want to talk about what I am talking to my clients about. I've been up for the most part of the last 4 days thinking about this. I've been really scared about the idea of making this video because I do not like the idea of trying to guess what is going to happen. I don't know how to predict the future. I don't like the money management part of this business. That's why I don't do it, because I don't like actually, having to choose and think I know what stocks or what sectors are going to do better than others. I just really don't enjoy that part of the business. What I enjoy is helping people make good decisions with their money. And because I'm so afraid, that's why I'm making this video, is because I just want to tell you why I'm afraid. You can either agree with my opinion or not. If you disagree, then just stop watching. That's totally fine. If you think that I make a little bit of a case, then there are some recommendations that I'm going to make. Because I just don't want to deal in opinions. I know, and hopefully I'm wrong about this, but I don't want to receive the hate that I anticipate might come from this, because I'm going to talk about things that are emotional, that maybe some people have been wrong about their money choices or whatever, and people get pretty upset about that. That's why I try and stick to the facts most of the time. But yeah, I mean, there are some factors that are driving this decision for sure. I mean, I guess I'm willing to take the risk of being wrong. If I'm wrong, that's a great thing. That means that we do not see a market collapse. We do not see a potential depression or significant recession. And everything is rosy and the economy opens back up, and I'm wrong, and I will happily come back and admit that I had no goddamn clue what I was talking about. Totally fine with admitting I was wrong. But let's talk about where my thinking is coming from. Well, first there was, 2008, which was a pretty intense collapse, which happened because of the housing bubble. And if you look at the way that they fixed it, they didn't actually fix anything. They didn't really change anything. They just kind of bailed out the big money and then let that sort of work itself out, which was pretty crazy. And then the pandemic comes along, and Donald Trump and all of this political turmoil that was going on, and it's a pandemic. And last year, in the first 3 weeks of the pandemic, I was having a permanent anxiety attack. I was worried about everybody. I was like, how can you shut the economy down and not have everybody losing their houses? All my business owner friends, all of my family, everybody I know, all of my clients, I'm like, are they even going to be able to have a job? Like, what the hell is going to happen? And, it made sense to me that the market dropped like significantly at that time. We just shut off the economy. Of course the market is going to drop when we do that. But what has surprised me since then is the rebound that we've seen. It does not make any real sense to me that the economy, or not even the economy, but the actual market is showing all of these significant gains and people are making all of this money. If we really truly think about it, just in the most simple terms, which I'm always doing on this channel, people are spending less on consumer goods. So, less money is coming in for most people. I mean, I know in Canada there was big stimulus, but companies make money off of consumers. And I get that certain businesses should have increased in value during the pandemic. But as a whole, I really don't understand how we've seen the correction actually come back and then exceed where it was before. It just truly doesn't make any sense to me. And then what has then begun to really terrify me, because all pandemic we're talking about how we're just watching billionaires get richer. And like every week I'm seeing a new article or headline that's like, you know, the billionaires have gained like 100 billion or whatever stupid numbers in wealth over the pandemic. Well, that means that they're getting it from somewhere else, which is obviously us, and we just like haven't seen the effects of that yet. Then comes along the GME stuff that started last week, and in the very beginning I was like, this is great. I love these guys, I love what they're doing, but then I really started thinking about it, and that's what started keeping me up at night. Because what is really happening, and when the dust settles, people will see that this is exactly what happened, is that all of these people are putting all of their money into these, you know, sure things, these bets, because like basically in one day the internet and the media taught every single, you know, person in the world how to gamble using the stock market, and we've created all these sites that allow us to do it like at warp speed for free, and then viral stuff takes off. So this is all that's happening, is everybody's piling all their money in the hopes and dreams of like that lottery win. I need to do this because I need to get it to pay off the debt that I've accumulated over the pandemic. I need this money to help pay for bills or whatever. Like people are actually probably doing it a lot out of the idea of like this is going to be the thing that is going to help them. But what is truly happening is they're piling all their money into these things, and all of these like executives and hedge funds that are the biggest shareholders in these companies that were almost bankrupt weeks ago have seen their value skyrocket to levels that they would have never ever imagined. Like that company just is not worth that amount of money, no matter how much business it does. And I get the logic behind it, you're screwing over hedge funds. But they all know each other, there's not that many of them, so they're like, okay, I'm getting screwed over, lend me some money. Or you go and fight against them. And they have more money than you. So as soon as they see this pumped up, then they just sell out, and you just actually gave a bonus to the executives that were like, how the hell are we going to get out of this business? And as soon as the dust settles, and all of these millennials that came together and tried to beat the man realized that they lost, then in my opinion, we're fucked. I've thought we've been fucked for a long time. It has, you know, always recovered, and I've always sort of expected this, but now I am absolutely terrified at the idea that we are going to see something really, really bad. I believe that if you walked through the streets, especially of the United States right now, you would think that it was really, really bad, but for some reason the market hasn't shown that yet. And for that reason, I'm just absolutely terrified. And then if we're looking at home in Canada, when the pandemic first started, to me, it was like, okay, well, all of these people are out of work. And one of the things that scares me the most about, like, one of the stats that comes to mind all the time in Canada is like 49 or whatever, 50% of Canadians were one missed paycheck away from like financial ruin, basically, because of the excess like consumer debt load that we have, because of all of the predatory lending practices from the giant financial institutions. Basically, they have been doing this for years out of an abundance of greed, and they have been basically taking, making us like into these like, I don't know, consumer driven debt machines that just like enhance their profits to levels like they have never seen before. And what I would have expected to see almost immediately was, okay, well, we're going to see a pile of bankruptcies. But the government stepped in and did their things, and the banks deferred all of these loans, which did obviously help the economy if you watched, because you're like, well, how is that person doing this? Why did they buy that? How did that guy buy the boat? And like cars and trucks were like flying off lots. It made absolutely no sense. It was like, what in the hell is happening right now? There has got to be tons of people that are way overextended that might not have a job. And once the bank starts actually coming for the money and the government turns off the taps because the economy is opened up again, well, what the hell is going to happen? Especially if before that there is, you know, a market correction where a lot of people are exiting because they're scared. So to me, it's just like the perfect storm. Basically my favorite movie with Marky Mark and George Clooney. Really great movie. But so I'm afraid enough that that's why I made this video. I am scared, and that is why. I can't explain it anymore. If you don't think that any of that makes sense, then you don't have to listen going forward. But this is what I am going to recommend to my clients, depending on their age, is that we really, really, really look at your risk tolerance and saying like, how are you going to feel if there is a significant drop in your RSP or your TFSA or whatever based on your age, which, you know, could be, you know, 40, 50, 60%. And if you're really uncomfortable with that, then what I would suggest is that we significantly, or at least in some part, reduce your exposure to risk inside of your portfolio. So we're reducing the risk. For business owners, I'm recommending if they have like assets in their business that are invested in the market, personally I'm just telling them to actually take it out and put it in cash. For a lot of my retired clients, or people that are close to retirement, because I'm saying, okay, well, let's think about this, and what's a bad case scenario if we reduce our risk is that we make lower returns next year. So if we're assuming that on an average or even a good year, let's say we make 8 or 10%. Well, if we do this, we're going to make a lower return if the market goes up. But if we don't do this, then we're going to see a significant drop, like something absolutely, you know, gut-wrenching that the rest of, you know, Canadians could potentially see. So if we miss out on that drop, then we're happier, we're less stressed out, it's a pandemic, we're freaking out. So something that retirees could do is say, you know what, I just want to take a year off and see how things look in a year or 6 months. And you could significantly reduce your risk. You could take a lot to cash. You could choose to purchase, you know, 1 year GIC, something like that, which might be recommended. I can't sell GICs, so I don't talk about it too much, but it's something that I would potentially think about, is like, okay, well, at least we know that we've locked in. I wouldn't do that for the long term, because what I believe is that, you know, the capital of the boomers and the people that actually have the money is how we restart the economy. It's really going to have to help. So the market will work. Know that this isn't like the end of the world if this happens. It wouldn't be fun, of course, but we will make it through. We're good people in general. People are very smart. We work together. well when we have to, based on our, survival skills and instincts. And we will do that if something bad happens. So, I mean, obviously, I'm sorry about the tone of this. I don't want to make this video. I hope I can delete it in, a year or 6 months and be like, I was an idiot, and, sorry to the 100 people or whatever that watched it. But thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe, stay sane, and ask for help if you need it. And we'll see you soon, and we'll keep planning.